What's up, guys? Mike Terry. I just want to make another video about communication, and I feel like there's a lack of communication right now, and there has been for a while. And more so, I want to touch on communication with like teens and people that are growing up in this era in the 21st century, with all this technology we have nowadays. It's so accessible, and anyone can use it. You don't have to be Einstein to know how to use this kind of technology. So what I really wanted to touch on is how communication is being affected by technology. So one of the things that I've been noticing that a lot of people have kind of told me is that you know I've talked to a lot of people on my route. If you guys don't know, I'm a mailman, so I talk to a lot of people on my route, and they've been telling me that one lady specifically told me that her son is kind of like a handful and doesn't really communicate with his friends or her because of technology, kind of avoids it. And in my situation, I have something like that as well. I have a cousin that you know he communicates, but he's always on his phone. In my opinion, he lives life through his phone sometimes, and it's just kind of it irritates me when I'm hanging out with him, because it's like, dude, you got to live life in a way where yeah, it's great. You can go on Snapchat and Instagram and post stuff and be like, hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but literally, like, you can't be doing that all the time, because then you have no real aspect of life. You're living your life through a lens, and I don't think that is the correct way that we were supposed to live. So, I mean, one of the things that I think is affecting us is competition. I mean, it's just human nature. When you walk into a room full of strangers, you're always looking at someone. Oh, are they better than me? Who is that? I mean, maybe not to that extent. You're not maybe saying that consciously, but subconsciously, you're looking at it like, what is he doing? Is he better than me, or is she doing something that I'm not doing? Like, you're trying to figure out what kind of level they're on, and then, you know, um, what makes people better than each other? I mean, there's no such thing as that. Everyone's the same. You might be doing something that's better than someone else, but at the end of the day, everyone has the same ability to do whatever they want. And that's just a big thing that needs to be addressed, because there should not be any competition like that. It should just be like, everyone should love each other. And that's in a perfect world, obviously. There's people out there that don't want to deal with stuff like that, but social media just, it isolates people in a sense. It distracts people from life. And if you don't know how, or you don't know when to stop, then it could be a big problem, and you can be addicted to social media, and it's horrible. And one of the things, actually, I went to a mastermind meeting just the other day, and one of the speakers actually addressed that when you get dings or notifications, your mind picks up on that, and it releases what do you say? It releases a chemical in your brain. I forget exactly what chemical it is, but it's the chemical that brings joy and happiness. I can't think of the name right now. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't think of it, and I don't want to say it wrong. So it brings those endorphins out, and you kind of are like, you're like, you want more of that. That's why, when people get text messages or they get Snapchat notifications, they're like, oh, and the more you get, the more popular or like well respected, or just like the better you feel, in a sense. At least in my experience, that's how I've seen people react to it. So the more notifications and stuff you get, the more you're on your phone, the more isolated you are from living life in the moment. And that's what I really wanted to touch on, is like living life presently. There's no future. We don't know. There's no such thing as future. There's no such thing as that, and I'll go into detail in another video about that. But we are supposed to be living in the present moment at all times. Yeah, you can think about the past. Yeah, you can reminisce, whatever. But don't live in the past. You're living in the past, you're depressed. You're living in the future, there's no such thing as a future. You're doing yourself some harm. So really, we need to come to a reform. We need to fix this problem, and I think the best way to fix this problem is by education. And we need to educate people about what smartphones are doing, what technology is doing to this era. I mean, it's a blessing that we have all this technology, and I don't even think you guys understand how easy it is to live life now that we have all this technology. It's incredible. We've been working for this period of time since, forever, for millions, for a long time. And it's just, yes, it's a blessing, but at the same time, if we let it control us, it's going to be the opposite of a blessing. So we need to reform that, and education is key to reform that. So I think we need to start with educating the younger kids, because they're always on their phone. They're the ones that know how to do it the most. And if we don't teach them now, then, excuse my French, but the world's going to be a ton of assholes that don't know how to deal with each other, because all they do is talk over social media and stuff. And a lot of the things I've been hearing too is like kids are like, they're not treating each other very well. There's still like cyberbullying and stuff going on. People are still trying to compete with each other. I mean, you look on Snapchat stories and people are trying to do, they're videotaping things to make themselves look cool. Like, oh, I'm at a party, or I'm drinking, or, depending on who you follow, it's just like, they're trying to make themselves look good. And that's like the vision that you perceive of like how they're living life and stuff. And then you perceive that about them, and then you make your judgment about that. So that is trash. We need to get rid of that. People want you to see what they want you to see. So you have to understand that that's not who they are because of that video they posted. There's different aspects of people. There's different personalities within a person. There's, a person when they're happy. There's a person when they're sad. There's a person when they're angry. There's different emotions. So you're not always the same person all the time. You go through different phases of your emotions. So I think, that needs to be dealt with. And, by me sharing this, it's kind of contributing to that. And the more this is shown and shared, I think we can make a change in the world. So what I want to do is I want to call you guys to action. I want to call everyone watching this video to action, and I want you to take a step further. And so what I want to say is, okay, so an hour before you go to sleep, I want you to turn off your smartphone. I want you to shut it off. I want you to turn off your computer. And I want you to just get out of a screen. Just don't look at a screen. Don't look at TV. Don't go on the computer. Don't use your smartphone. What else? Don't play any video games or anything like that. Just for an hour before you go to sleep, shut it all down. And then when you wake up in the morning, don't turn your phone on for an hour for an hour after you wake up. So if you can implement that into your life, it's dramatic, the changes that will happen for you. And for me, I'm going to start improvising that in my life. And so that's why I wanted to challenge you guys to do the same thing, because it's powerful. And if you can do that, if we can start spreading that and create a domino effect, the world's going to be a better place. We need to get people off their phones all the time and interacting with other human beings and living in the present moment. So live life presently and have energy and be nice to each other. Be nice, because life is short, and the last thing you want to do is regret how you lived your life because you didn't live life fully. So live your life the fullest way possible by not spending all your time on technology. All right? Peace.